So I wanted to talk to you today about how I got into yoga. I actually lost a bet. So a lot of people go to yoga and they say, I want to do yoga. They walk in the studio and they know pretty much what they want to do. I actually figured out that I was going to hate yoga when I first tried it, because I had tried it, maybe 15 years ago. I took one yoga class at my health gym, and I was looking at my watch the whole time. I did not want to be in there, and when I left, I never went back. I threw the baby out with the bathwater is what I did. I threw the baby out with the bathwater. I did not know, and like many people, that there's a tons of different kinds of yoga out there. So really the key is to find what you like. And to figure out what you like, you're going to have to, like they say in love, you're going to have to kiss a lot of frogs. Instead of, kissing one and decide, oh, that was terrible, I'm never going to like frogs, you go back and you try it. Because at this point, yoga shows up in everything. Yoga shows up in insurance commercials. Yoga shows up in laundry detergent commercials. Yoga shows up in people on vacation. So everybody pretty much knows, their doctor, their PT, their best friend has said after a conversation, hey, maybe you should give yoga a try. But when I found yoga, that kind of wasn't really happening. I just actually lost a straight up bet with a girlfriend, and went to my first yoga class that I actually enjoyed. And that was in 2000 or 1999, 1999. I was fairly sure that I was going to hate it. So we bet, and I showed up at her class, and after we were done, I kind of looked at her like, okay, what was that? Because that was not at all what I had expected it to be. First of all, I was dripping wet, and I felt like I had done something. I felt like I had gotten a quote unquote workout, but I wasn't aware of the workout while I was doing it. I was more enjoying the whole process. Things that she was saying, music that she was playing, little intricate ways that I was moving my body, really interested me. I went home after that class, and just like I'm now, I'm sitting on the sofa. I was sitting on the sofa with a girlfriend having a cup of tea, and I was telling her about this yoga class that I had taken. And I'll describe it as, when you pick up a really good book and you've read the first chapter and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a great book. And what comes next? That's how I felt after my second yoga class. So I wanted to go back. Dennis Prager, he's a talk show, syndicated radio talk show host out of LA. And I'm pretty sure that he said this, or it's the first time I heard it. And he said the first word out of a baby's mouth is usually dada, and the second word is mama, and the third word is more. I want more of dada, and I want more of mama, because when we find something we like and we love, we want more of it. It's just the human condition. So I wanted more of this yoga. Now, I am what I would consider a reformed, faster, harder, better girl. Since the time I was little, I guess one of my most vivid memories when I was a little girl is climbing trees and being out all day long, laying in the grass, like looking at the grass, picking the grass, chewing the ends of the grass, looking up at the clouds, climbing more trees, riding my bike, doing gymnastics in the yard, and just staying out all day until my mother would holler, and we would go running for dinner. I've always been moving my body. I took dance classes, taught jazzercise in high school, was a cheerleader in high school. In my 20s, I worked out at Jane Fonda's place on, I think it's 3rd Street. And she would be there teaching classes, and we were grapevining for all it was worth. And I worked downtown at the time, and I lived way out in the, in the depths of the valley in Chatsworth, and her studio was kind of my waypoint. Then in my 30s, I discovered Billy Blank's Taibo aerobics, and I was, you know, a Taibo girl. And I got a hold of that, and I loved that. I was doing that 8 days a week. So my 30s, and then I was just about 40 when I was just going to say that I discovered yoga, but I think yoga discovered me. What is that adage that, you know, the student appears and the student shows up and the teacher appears? That definitely was what happened with me. I'm going to kind of rewind the story a little bit and tell you that in 1993, I was, you know, deep into exercising every day. It was a priority for me. It was actually one of my passions. I have 3 sons who here in 2012 are 25, nearly 23, and 19. And I'm passionate about being a mom, and I'm passionate about being a good wife. And my third passion was exercising and working out and staying fit. And I would say that, you know, if I'm gonna tell the truth on this tape, I was a little bit obsessed. I was obsessed with trying to fit into what I thought I should look like. And you know, hey, it's not LA's fault, but I lived in LA and in the entertainment industry and all the beautiful people around. So I was pretty much, I was on the wheel of, you know, how do I keep my package together and stay what I thought, you know, stay fit and pretty. So I had a 9-month-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And I had come back from the gym one day, and I was making dinner. It was Friday night, and I felt like I had a bruise on my elbow. And I'm just buzzing around the kitchen doing my thing, and I kept saying to my husband, do I have a bruise right there? I have a bruise right there? I was looking in the mirror, and I couldn't see a bruise, and I'm like, my elbow really hurts. And by the end of the night, after I was doing the dishes, I couldn't move my arm. And you know, I was concerned for sure. But you know, when you have 3 little kids, and all the moms will get this out there, you don't rush off to the doctor. You know, when you got 3 little kids, you're just like, well, whatever. Hopefully it'll just go away. So then it didn't go away. It moved over to this arm. And now I was really concerned, like, gosh, you know, what do I have? So I went to the doctor, and they said, well, it doesn't show up in your blood yet, Robyn, but it looks like you have rheumatoid arthritis. I was like, geez, rheumatoid arthritis? I mean, that's what old people get. And I was 32 at the time. And my doctor said, yeah, you know, people get it, young women get it. A lot of young women get it in their 30s, and it's not until their 70s where you see kind of the ravages of the disease, where their joints are all, you know, crooked and gnarled, and you're hunched over. And I was just stunned. It's like, how could that be possible? That doesn't fit into my life at all. I mean, I'm like a happiness person, and I am not a sick person, and how could this have happened to me? And I took some pills that he gave me, and it didn't really seem to help right away. But you know, I wanted to feel better, so I definitely kept going back until, along with my doctor, we kind of found a cocktail of stuff that would work for me, or that would kind of, you know, keep me out of pain. But I'll tell you, during those years of from 1999 through 1993 through almost 2000, I was a happy person in the daytime. I would hide it from everybody that I knew. I would be at the gym, and this is not really hiding it, but I'd have like a sling on, and I'd be like kickboxing at Billy Blank's, and they'd be like, Robyn, what's up with the sling? And I'm like, what sling? I'm fine. No problem. They'd be like, okay, whatever. And then like sometimes I was on a crutch, and on those days I would just do biceps forever, and they're like, hey Robyn, what's up with your leg? I'm like, nothing, I'm fine. It's this rheumatoid arthritis thing, but don't worry about it, and I would just make light of it. But at night, I was what I would call like a hall walker. I would just, if you don't know what rheumatoid arthritis feels like, it feels like broken bones. It feels like you have broken bones, unset broken bones, and they throb, and your joints throb, and it's just misery. And it would attack me in the middle of the night. I would be waking up. I had this thing called symmetrical rheumatoid arthritis, where it first showed up in my elbow, then it went over here, and then it went from like this shoulder to this shoulder, and this hip to this hip, knee to knee, foot to foot. My neck was a mess, my feet, and it would just like, shoot, it like had this like free passport all over my body and would just go around my body. Now, I would say a couple years into my condition, we had it stabilized for a couple months, and then I'd have up these flare-ups. So for many months, I would just look just as well as I look right now, and no craggy joints, and totally able to do whatever I wanted to do, and then all of a sudden, man, I would get slammed, and I couldn't open my baby's diaper tab. I couldn't open a jar. I couldn't open my car door, and I was pretty upset. And then it would go away, and then it would come back, and so I'm kind of monitoring it. They're monitoring my liver and my kidneys for all these pills that I was taking. So kind of fast forward to 1999. We're living in the valley, in the San Fernando Valley. It's a very congested area. It tends to be a beautiful area, beautiful in some areas, but it's a lot of mini malls, strip malls, Ventura Boulevards, full of anything you could possibly want. But there's it's concrete jungle, and we decided we're going to move out of this area. We're going to move to the beach. So we moved to the beach. Beautiful community, Palos Verdes, California. If you have to live in LA, Google that joint, because it is just a beautiful, beautiful place. So we moved there, and I have decided that I left two things in the valley. I left Billy Blank's studio, and I left my favorite sushi bar. So, I mean, those are basically, and a couple of friends, but that's it. That's the only thing that I left there and I missed there. So we moved to the beach, and I'm loving it. We're living a block off the cliff, a block off of the Pacific Ocean. It's gorgeous. And I decide I am a gym rat no more. I am not going to be on the gym floor. I'm not going to be doing, any more kickboxing classes. No more grapevining for moi. I am only going to be outside on the beach, riding my bike, walking through the sand. Sure, I'll do sit-ups and push-ups. I'll bring my towel. There was even a girl down there, Gina's GI Jane workout boot camp, and I did that for a couple of years. But I was, getting fresh air and having a good time. I would run the beach. I turned into somewhat of a runner. I actually just kind of fell forward more than actually ran, but my feet did leave the ground. So then it started to rain. And when it rains in LA, you better pack it up, because it is not going to stop. It's not like Florida where I live now, where it rains really hard for a couple of minutes and then it stops and it's beautiful again. You just have to wait a few minutes. In LA, it rains. So I'm out there and I'm in my, my hoodie and my scarf, and it's getting kind of cold and it's raining and my shoes are drenched. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. So I went to join a gym again.